Welcome to the Sharpshooters podcast. This is the Retro Raw. We are doing the Royal Rumble 1998. I am your host, Ross. With me, as ever, is Lord Manny Hayes.
Hey.
And joining us for this special live event.
This
premium live. You heard him there. It's Marcus, the grand finale.
Hey, here I am.
Hey, there he is. And also joining us is the baddest man in podcasting. Eric is here.
Yes, aka the hater, which I'm not going to hate because I love the Rumble. That's why I'm here. I love the Rumble.
Good man.
Are you saying we had to negotiate with Don King to get this man on screen today?
You
did, man. You know, me and Mike Tyson, we got the same agent. We just don't have the same lawyer.
So you're going to jail.
Nah, man. I got a different lawyer, man. I know better.
You got one of them OJ lawyers. 98. So you had to get some of that dream team.
This is the 1998 Royal Rumble. It is the Rumble on paper looks terrible. The people that are in it, the level of superstar is so shit at this point. It's really weak roster.
How dare you? Tom Grande is a star.
We'll get to Tom Brandi. Don't you worry. We'll get to Tom Brandi.
Number 3.
The show kicks off with JR and King talking, and while they're still talking, they just cut to the foreign announcers, like just cut off JR and King straight away, and then they just come back in talking over the Spanish announcers as well. It gets off to a pretty shambolic start, this Rumble.
Yeah, the production of this is horrible. Like, they've come a long way over time in which they don't just randomly cut. It's like they have it all organized. Like, cameramen are tripping all over themselves too in their blue tracksuits.
Can I point out something? Yeah, that was my favorite thing, that they were straight up wearing like workman tracksuits. I was like, when was this a thing in WWE? Apparently it was at 98. And when did it stop for them to wear regular clothes? And also, I will point out that WWE had so many people are outside of the ring, it almost felt like a New Japan show because they had no spacing back in 98. It was quite amazing what was going on.
It was crowded.
Yeah, really crowded. The camera cuts to Mike Tyson. He's really happy to be here. No one else is happy that he's here. He gets booed out of the building.
Yes. Well, he's coming off conviction of rape and fighting Holyfield at this point. Like, that's where you're at with Mike Tyson's life at this point. And I'm like, he is really a villain that they decided to put on, that they decided to sign. But he is the most watchable villain you could ever watch.
Yeah, we'll get to watchable stuff and some of the things he says on our next episode of Raw. But anyway, let's start off with our first match. It's Goldust taking on Vader. Vader is super over when he comes out. He is like, the crowd love him. It's a shame that Sean really fucked him over on it and ruined his push.
You know, Ross, I hate to correct you, but I'm going to do it anyway because who I am. It was not Goldust he was facing.
Sorry.
It was the artist formerly known as Goldust. Just want to get that right because he wasn't Goldust on that day. He was not Goldust.
No, he wasn't anything.
He was a goddamn fool, but he wasn't Goldust.
He was just as random Goldust as he possibly
could. He was
be.
green dust.
Yeah.
No, he was later Red Dust for the Rumble. First match, right? Oh no, wasn't he Blue Meanie in his first one, or he was blue, right? Or something? No, he was green. He was green. He was green in the opening match, and then he had Kane face paint on in the second
Rumble. Really terrifying. JR on this, he's on fire throughout this whole pay-per-view. He claims Goldust is in fantastic shape and with great athleticism. He looks gassed after about a minute. He's puffing and dragging for air.
You know, it's sad. This was 1998, and all respect to Dustin Rhodes, he's still doing the same type of match that he did back in 98, and you know. He said he doesn't watch his matches, but it was nice seeing Vader. It was nice seeing Vader again because, you know, I miss Vader.
Yeah.
You know? Wait, that's the claim.
Vader has a good little run off this Rumble. He has a little feud with Kane heading up towards WrestleMania, which is pretty good.
Yeah. So what I learned from this match is that when people talk about long-term storytelling, this match had short-term storytelling already over. They gave a recap. And we're like, 3 weeks ago, Goldust decided to change his personality. 2 weeks ago, he did this and dressed up as Sable. 1 week ago, a few days ago, he attacked Vader. Pay-per-view match. Like, this was no build up. Like,
this is what we found looking back at this era. People like romanticize the Attitude Era.
There was not much of this stuff.
Not much different than it is now.
Yeah.
Oh, match 2 was what we all loved. I mean, that's what we all wanted, man. Match number 2.
I want to say shout out to Luda Bashan for jumping off Vader's back into that power. That looked really impressive. Yeah, I thought she was gonna break her face, but it was really impressive. There was a really nice finish to the match.
Yeah,
and
I enjoyed that finish.
Really got the crowd hyped. I was like, man, poor Vader.
Yeah.
This is where you're at.
JR calls Vader thick throughout this match. And there's also at one point, there's a stair spot outside, and someone in the crowd gets up and shouts, "Vader, you fat wad."
And Vader was over. He was the first person to ever be called thick.
In '98, apparently the announcers were allowed to take a lot of shots at the performers because from Vader being thick to Ahmed Johnson being a damn fool with earrings in his ear, that was still one of my favorite moments.
I mean,
Ahmed,
we'll get to Ahmed Johnson in the Rumble, but Ahmed Johnson, I remember him being in amazing shape.
Yeah,
Manny,
what happened?
This
is not the Ahmed Johnson I know.
That was Ahmed Johnson towards the end of his career after many, many injuries. I mean, he was bad, but it was funny.
We might have to look across at his run in WCW as Big T, whether he came in as. Fighting for the T name with Booker T.
Let's not go that route. The war of the T's. Mr. T, Booker T.
Three-way dance for the ages, that is. yeah, Vader wins. Vader bomb with Luna on his back. Luna almost breaks her neck. Pretty good match, so I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought, for what it was, I was like, this may be terrible. Just considering the
may
be
terrible.
This was not terrible. This was actually a really good match, and Vader got to do Vader stuff, and he looked like a monster. Goldust got his ass whooping, his comeuppance, and this was the age, and I was like, you know what? Good start. They started the show off hot.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is, what time was it?
Vader time.
Vader time. The man they call Vader.
The Mastodon.
The Master. Put fat people on the map, man.
Jack called him the big smelly grizzly bear, big old stinky grizzly bear, he calls him later on.
Yeah.
That nickname's not going to stick, that one. Austin arrives backstage and just throws his keys at Michael Cole like he's a valet and just walks off.
Michael Cole looked like a valet back in the day.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Austin, Mr. Austin, Mr. Austin. Shut up, Cole, you fucking knob.
Yeah, that's basically what he said. And walked in, was like, shut the fuck up. I'm going in here. I'm late. I'm 2 hours late. Leave me alone.
Hey,
here's what I don't understand, and this made me jump in the head. He gave away that truck.
It was supposed to be a try. It was supposed to be a prize, and they were prompting this for like 3 weeks.
He's been driving for weeks, hasn't he?
It didn't seem like Austin knew that, because the way he came up into that truck was just like, take the fucking truck and park it. I said, I'm picking it up after the Rumble. He had no way home after the show.
But do you think this is how they kept Renee and Caleb Braxton happy in the back? Because they were like, you know what? If you do interviewing backstage, just like Michael Cole have, one day you'll be the lead play-by-play person. Because, I mean, Michael Cole was the shit back in the day. He was abused just like everybody else back in the day. And now he's like the voice of WWE. Like, he supplanted Jim Ross.
It could be, yeah. They've got a flow chart based on in the offices. Like, this is the path to get to where Cole is now.
Yeah, you just have to stick with the path.
Caleb Braxton, just hold on. Don't be like Renee and go start the oral sessions. Just hold on. Just hold on.
Yeah, but we got to realize Renee was too good for her role.
Yeah, but she wasn't the best commentate when they gave her a shot.
No, but
she wasn't really good. But
imagine having 3 people on that desk, and then you're basically just used there for sound, just to make a sound.
Hey, I miss Chuck too. Chuck was good, but she went on the greener pastures.
The Confederate boys turn up looking for trying to find Austin. Didn't register me back in '98 that there are Confederate flag shirts they're wearing.
No, they're representing hard.
Yeah,
and this is only a few things that would not make it in today's wrestling.
Exactly.
Like they were, oh man, I'm gonna wear my Confederate flag, and I'm looking for Steve Austin, and it was like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is how you were. This is what the Goblins were about this time.
They should have been looking for the Nation or Ahmed Johnson, but they were busy looking for Steve Austin, which made no sense. But whatever.
Yeah. No. We have a minis match up next. Remember 98 with the minis?
Yes, Max Mini!
Sonny is here. Sonny's had a fun week in the real world this week. She's been arrested for terrorist threats, was it?
Yeah.
Carrying a weapon?
She's arrested again? Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Threatened to stab someone with scissors or something like that.
Yeah. And there was definitely something about terrorist threats as well. I don't know what Sonny's been up to, but I don't know. It's a long way since you paid to get into bed with her, isn't it?
Osama bin Sonny. What the fuck?
I just want to say that this match laid the groundwork for what AEW is today. That's all I want to say for that.
All work rate, no selling.
That was NXT for a while as well.
No, man. I'm talking about small men and trios matches. That's all this match was. And that's what
Young
AEW
Adam
is
Cole
to this
watched
day.
this and thought, there we go, there's a career for me.
I have a chance. Like saw
King.
Max Mini and was like, oh my god, that could be me. I saw El Torito and was like, that could be me if I could just get to 85 pounds.
King hates Max Mini. I love his fury at these minis.
King hated a lot of people.
He
was a
had
hateful man.
his minis joke book out today for this one.
He went through a list. Like
He did,
that
didn't
was, yeah, it was like there are more mini jokes than references to Steve Austin and Tyson on the show. He was so prepared for this one.
I think it was Battalion. He reminded me of when Matt Hardy was in the cruiserweights.
Yes.
Didn't belong in that division.
Battalion was huge. I would hate for Battalion to jump on me if I was Max Manny, because he was the biggest dude I've ever seen. Like, he couldn't even be on 205 in live. 205 live. That dude was over. Like, they kept saying he's about 85 pounds. Nah, man.
Yeah.
195. I know 195.
The cut to Tyson, he's loving the minis. I think he's probably got their numbers after to put some of this on in his private showings, I reckon. Sonny counts to 10 in Spanish. I quite enjoyed that when they're on the outside, little count out spot.
Such a fall from grace, man.
Yeah, she was dressed as HBK when he's a ref as well. Did you notice? She's got the same shorts on and the same little crop top.
I'm sure that was the same outfit. I'm sure it was the same outfit.
Yeah, it definitely was.
But I want to say her officiating was not as bad as some of the other officiating I seen later in this night.
No, true.
Like,
she literally helps one of them kick him in the face at one point.
She's high-fiving, and she's not impartial to Max Mini, who I fancy they had a relationship with after, because it seemed very close to something like that. I can see Max Mini show up in one of her future OnlyFans.
Max Mini's had some sunny days. I can't remember who won the match, but I remember King saying that, "Come over here, Sonny, sit on my lap. That's the best seat in the house."
Max Mini, Mosaic, and Nova won the match.
There we go.
Oh, did everyone take notes today? I did take notes today.
I believe Eric is looking at Wikipedia. I can see it in his glasses.
You fucking liar.
Let me fix that real quick.
We can still see it.
I don't know why. Oh, there it is.
Off.
I look this way. There it is. Fuck it. I don't care. Everybody know I don't prepare for this shit.
Yeah, we got backstage to the Nation. They found Austin's dressing room and they go in and beat up some bold guy. It's not Austin.
Was that them? I thought that was the Bowikas that beat up the.
Was it? I put the Nation.
No. It was the Nation.
Nation found the middle finger. They just found the middle finger.
Oh yeah, they found the middle finger. They told Mark Henry to break down the door.
Yeah, he had earn your stripes, big man. Earn your stripes, big man. I was like, come on, Eric. You can earn your stripes today. This is what Eric earned his stripes in the Nation. The door open.
You know what? We just couldn't figure out how to stay together as one unity. We could have won that Rumble, but we decided we need to fight each other more than fight together.
That's my favorite part of the Rumble. Those idiots.
It didn't make any sense to me.
It was immediately. It was immediate when it happened. When
this was like Drew McIntyre and R-Truth back in the day. Beat down on sight. Like, these people hated each other. Like, as soon as D-Lo got into the Rumble, he went right after The Rock, and I was like, why? And then it was a point where Kama Mustafa got into the Rumble and Marquez, and I was like, why are you guys fighting each other?
What are you idiots doing?
They had the numbers, and they kept counting the numbers. 5 Nation members in the final 5. There's 6 people left. 5 of them are Nation members. Why can't we
and
just
they all
get
still
along?
lost.
Yeah.
We have the IC title match up next. It's The Rock and Ken Shamrock. Ken finally gets his hands on The Rock. I like this version of The Rock. Like, before he becomes Hollywood, like before he becomes the champion, this Rock is really fun to watch.
This is lower upper mid card Rock right here. He wasn't there yet. This is what every other wrestler needs to aspire to be, because watching the 98 Rumble, it reminded me of 2 things. The Rock wasn't at the top, and also Triple H wasn't at the top. And eventually it's going to be something that switch where it becomes the era of them, and then John Cena is born. It's like Christ was being born among them or something like that.
This is B Cena. Before Cena. But my favorite thing about this version of The Rock is that he's such a heel. He's such an asshole the entire way, the entire time, and he's talking his shit. And you literally see the star power all over him, and how much people hate him, and how this is still a transition period from him being my Mia. as
Yeah.
Jim Ross continues to call. This is
JR can't get over it, can he? Cannot get over it all the way through the match.
He kept calling Rocky Balboa. I mean, and then I suppose he's the Rock now.
Yeah.
But I think I felt like Vince McMahon yelled in his ear, was like, "He's the Rock, damn it! He's the Rock." Keep talking about Chief Maivia and Rocky Johnson. We don't care. We don't care. Because the King goes up. How do you remember all these useless wrestlers, JR? When he's talking about the Rock, and I'm like, that's his daddy. That's grandma. But Ken Shamrock had this shit coming.
Yeah. What do you think of this match, Manny?
I actually enjoyed this match because the way it ended, it was so funny. It was just like the fakeness of Shamrock having to play act out. What are they doing in there?
Yeah.
I didn't put them there.
How does he not feel cold brass against his dick? Surely you'd realise.
Yeah, how does that not like that would be the first thing I know? Is like
they
got an itch down there.
They were in the Rock's trunks first. So they probably warmed up.
Man, they love dick grabs in '98 though. You know, anything that happened to Johnson because you know we got to the casket match. It was like, oh, here it is, Sean.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but there were so many low blows and going into the tights. It was just like, man, people didn't care about anything.
It was the foundation for AEW. I told you, 98. This like AEW is based off of the Attitude Era. That's what it is.
I don't know if it was just many low blows on Dynamite. I've never seen people go into their trucks this much. So The Rock, pulls the Eddie Guerrero before Eddie Guerrero does it.
Yeah.
And it works effectively because the referee overturns his decision without seeing nothing and just taking the word of The Rock.
No footage or anything. He just takes the word that The Rock is KO'd.
Yeah. Aren't there people backstage to kind of help with this sort of stuff? Couldn't care
The Rock was
called backstage.
All The Rock had to do was he hit me in the face with some brass knuckles, man. He hit me. Check his sights. Check his dick. Check this man's dick. And then referee Ken Doan goes over and is like, let me touch your balls a little bit. What is this? What is this?
Yeah, Ken's acting like when he said, What are they doing there?
So it's not as good as Hogan's pantomime.
No. Or Sean's last week on Raw, like if you guys are up there.
Great. His pantomime was great.
Can I also say that in this shocking decision by the referee to overturn this, D'Lo being trapped in the rope like that, was that intentional?
It terrifying.
I don't know.
Because that was the reason for the distraction. But I don't know. I feel like D'Lo was really stuck in hurt. Like he fell, his leg was stuck, and I was like, "Is he really stuck like that?"
Well, then speaking of D'Lo, when did the head shake start? Because he's not doing it just yet. He does
one in the Rumble.
You gotta wait till when Mustafa Kama becomes the Godfather, and he becomes the European champion.
Yeah, I think it's like when The Rock takes over the nation, like when he gets more personality. Because I think like the whole thing was like Farouk kept him serious, like like you had to be more legit, and then you have to agree when The Rock took over the nation, it kind of became more of a comedy act where it was
Owen
joined a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to Owen in the Rumble tells me he needed someone to watch his back. He had a lot of enemies, man. A lot of enemies.
But yeah, he was feuding with everyone.
Yeah, I was like, man.
Well, he is the sole survivor. If I were to call Owen Hart a modern wrestler, he would be Kazarian, the elite hunter. Because
Mark, that's disrespectful to Owen Hart, man. That is disrespectful to Owen Hart.
They have the exact same gimmick in '98, in which they're just the last of their kind because there were no more Harts, and that's how they describe him: the last Hart alive, the sole
He's
survivor.
got so many nicknames on commentary. It takes ages to just say Owen Hart because he's the sole survivor and the Black Heart and all this other
the
stuff.
King of Hearts and stuff like that. It was a bunch of stuff.
Emmy Award winning.
Yeah.
Let's get back to a good old fashioned tag match though. The Legion of Doom and the New Age Outlaws, where we got no finish on a pay-per-view. Man,
this is awful.
This would not work at all.
Hold on. This is your boy, the badass Billy Gunn. This is your boy.
It does. There's this match here, and then the match on the Raw following. Two people drop Billy on their heads 2 weeks in a row. Like Animal catches Billy off the top rope for a slam, doesn't get all the way over, just drops Billy head first on the canvas.
Yeah, but that's basically what LOD was back then.
Yeah, incredibly dangerous.
They were more of a look than what they can do in the ring, man.
Yeah, but you know what? I think nostalgia overcame me in this match. I forgave everybody for everything that was wrong with this match. I didn't even care if Hawk had half his mohawk. I was all in. Even in
Do you not
know
why he had half his mohawk?
Yeah, the Outlaw shaved it.
Yeah,
I know. But it was like that he kept it and didn't shave the other one. That was the problem.
Did you see the promo before the match with LOD backstage? Animal's looking at the wrong camera the entire time. He's shouting down the wrong camera. For fuck's sake, you idiots.
They didn't understand production back in the day. I mean, like you have to honestly say that when WWE started making movies, that's when their production game stepped up. It was like, although they made shit movies, but it made the production of their programming a lot better. And quite frankly, watching the 98 Rumble, I realized that I'm more of a fan of the 2000 era of WWE, where I had more people that I enjoy, like, you know, the Guerreros and the Benoits, the Angles and stuff like that. Like these guys, like the people in this Rumble, I remember them, but I'm like, damn, you didn't have much star power back in the day.
No,
but LOD had their star power because they got away with murder. They were terrible in this match, and Hawk was high. I'm pretty sure.
No,
he was high when he was in
the What high is when when we go on to talk about Raw, when he's partying with Mike Tyson in the back.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
I saw a bad combination of Hawk, Sonny, and Mike Tyson on Monday Night Raw, and I was like, they should not.
Well, Marcus, based on what we know about Sonny now, Marcus. What we know about Sonny now, she was nowhere close to Mike Tyson at all at that point.
Oh no, she was hugging it up right there. Mike Tyson had that star power to end racism right there.
That's why Terry Funk's covered in cocaine. He's been partying with Mike Tyson and the guys backstage.
So, can someone tell me, was Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie a tag team, or were they broke up at this point? Because why do they have so much hate?
They're a tag team, yeah. They're in the Belts at Rumble.
So apparently,
Eric, they basically formed 2 weeks prior to this Rumble match.
So, but you're just trying to tell me this 98 Rumble was the Rumble that divided all factions from each other because everybody wanted to fight each other. Because, Chainsaw Charlie was high as hell.
You would think that, but then the theme of the Survivor Series later that year is gang wars. So this continues all the way to like November.
I just need to know what happened to Tom Brady. What happened?
Oh, fuck Tom Brady. Fuck Tom Brady. I hate this man.
His last year,
of Tom Brady.
His last year was in 98. He was in WWE from 96 to 98. I don't remember him at all. But apparently, according to Wikipedia, because I do have it open, he is still currently wrestling to this day.
That's Tony D'Angelo.
He's probably still feuding with Mark Mero.
Salvatore Sincere. That's his wrestling name. Salvatore Sincere.
No, fair enough. So we get to the Rumble. Cactus is out first, and Terry Funk comes out second. They have a little fight for a little bit, just chairs and all sorts of shit thrown at each other. Tom Brady comes out number 3. He comes straight in and straight back out again.
Tom Brady was the highlight because I went, who else is in this fucking thing?
Who the fuck is Tom Brady? And he got eliminated in 12 seconds. At first, I thought they said Tom Brady. And I was like, oh, wait, Tom Brady was there.
Italian Tom Brady's gonna win this match.
So your reaction is the exact reaction I had in December when we first started the pilots. I'm like, who the fuck is Tom Brady?
Yeah, I mean, Betty, I have no recollection of this man at all. Is he the reason why Brandy Rose was created? They named her Brandy off of Tom Brandy. I don't know what's going on because they spell it the exact same way. But the greatest thing about Tom Brandy being number 3 was when he came out, they didn't even show him on camera enough to get a good look of him. Next thing you know, he's out, and then he gets eliminated, and then we're like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then JR was on some bullshit again. I think he was going against Vince McMahon, who wants to call Terry Funk Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah.
But JR continued to call him Terry Funk.
Terry Funk.
Also known as Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah. Talking about the ranch. He can help himself, could he?
Yeah, he could not. He was not. I was like, I'm not going this route. He's Terry Funk. I don't know why we're calling him this. Let me clarify. This is Terry Funk. Fucking guys.
Number 4 is The Rock. The crowd finally makes some noise. They're really quiet for the first 3 of this match. The Rock comes in and just
He's such a big star too.
It's weird because a massive pop later.
Because the bloodlust for chairs and everything else wasn't fully there yet. Much like it is today, where they want chair bloodlust and people.
No, man, they want the fucking table, man. They always want the table. I don't want the table. Everybody grab. Why we need the fucking table? know.
Also, the chainsaw that doesn't work that they pipe in the sound for.
Hey, it did work. He threw the one cherry in Marcus and it sparked.
No, it's sparklers on the chainsaw. I don't know how he activates them, but he has sparklers on there, Eric. It's sparkler fireworks. Them. And I was wondering this because I was looking at him when he was trying to chop one of the cherries, and I went, he can't really have this on. Will he accidentally cut the rope? So there must be sparklers on there because it only happens one time. He only does it one time on each night on Raw and on this one. He can only do it once. There's one sparkler firework on there. And I was like, whatever. But the brutal chair shots to the head made me cringe. Go, oh.
Yeah, they were real.
They weren't even protecting themselves.
No. Hands behind their backs almost. Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
The Rock gets put in a trash can, and then they beat up the trash can with the Rock inside. I quite enjoyed that. Yeah, it did.
And can we say, honestly, let me be honest, like 1 was fine, 2 was fine, Tom Brady was whatever, The Rock was there, but number 5 had to be one of the most disappointing people coming down to the ring when Mosh from the Headbangers came. I was like, really? He was in here? Like, why was he in this match?
No. Thrash is way worse than Mosh.
Oh, come on. Which one became Chad?
This was like a great series of bad people coming down to the ring. It was like Mosh, Phineas, 8-Ball, and I was like, really?
Yeah, this continues throughout the Rumble.
I don't know that you've got these things in front of you because you're sounding far more intelligent right now. Like you've got your wherewithal with what's going on. But I know for a fact you don't remember any of this.
Manny, I just want to point out. No, actually, believe it or not, I remember a lot from this Rumble because I love fucking Rumbles, and I'm just waiting for him to talk about my least favorite person in the Rumble, and then we can talk about how he's the worst big man in the game.
Oh, we'll get
especially in '98.
Yeah. So yeah, we get Mosh. No one cares. It's incredibly boring at this point. Millions out.
I like the Headbangers, damn it.
Yeah, I like the Headbangers.
Then we get 8-Ball.
I thought they could have been more. 8-Ball's terrible.
8-Ball's out. This is the lowest energy Rumble I've ever seen.
Yeah, it felt like T-Bar entering the Rumble.
More like Mace.
Yeah, we'll get Mace and the rest of them in a bit. Cactus eliminated by Funk. I didn't see that coming, but we know why. Bradshaw comes out. Bradshaw looks fucking huge.
First of all, let me just point out Bradshaw because you brought it up. Bradshaw he had to stare off with Kurgan. I was like, Kurgan's trying to be built at 7 feet. Yeah. I'm like, Bradshaw was like maybe a half an inch away from him, but I'm like, Kurgan just had a big neck. That's all he had.
He was all torso. I'm Kurgan.
But like Bradshaw was like fat muscle though. Like I didn't. He was like thick, but he wasn't like I don't know what he was. He became one of the longest reigning champions on SmackDown from this point on. Like that's just the greatest thing about.
This is a decade after he gets his title run. Yeah. And this is not. I'm going like they should have really used Bradshaw.
Let me also point this out too. This is before the APA have their run too, because Farouk hadn't left. It's so much that happens after this. It's amazing when you go back and you look.
Kurgan was shit. The Acolyte, when they were just the Acolytes, they weren't even that good. When they became the APA, that's when people start giving a fuck about them.
At this point, he's stuck between being Justin Hawk Bradshaw and Blackjack Bradshaw. They can't decide what they want to do with him.
He was Blackjack because of
it depends on whoever JR wanted to call him on the night.
Justin Hawk Bradshaw, Shades of Sandheads and clothesline.
So you know, like,
there's Blackman Bradshaw.
So you know, like when we criticize JR for what he does on AEW, everyone like, well, he's old. No, he did this shit back in the day too. It didn't matter.
2 years ago, he was still doing this.
He's like King Funk and Justin Hawk Bradshaw fighting in the ring right now.
Justin Hawk Bradshaw, like, can we?
Maybe that's what the J is in JBL.
Number 9, my next favorite moment of this Rumble.
Yeah, we get Owen who gets out and gets jumped immediately by the NWA.
By Jim Cornette, and Jeff Jarrett, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? But I loved it.
But Jim Cornette, who is still on his bullshit that he is currently on today, talking about outlaw wrestling. He's beating the shit out of people.
He hasn't changed at all.
Yeah, he hasn't changed it all so far. You know, he seems like he's lost a lot of weight because he was carrying some extra baggage when he was coming out. He looked more like Paul Bearer than he did Jim Cornette in this segment. And they were just beating the shit out of Owen. And I was like, I'm sure Owen deserved this. I'm sure he shouldn't have fucked with the NWA, which I thought stood for N-words with attitude.
So what doesn't actually make sense? So if you pin everyone at the moment that Owen was feuding with, he was feuding with all of the Los Boricuas, DX, DX,
the NWA.
No, because I don't know what brought on the NWA.
No.
The NWA just decided to attack at the Royal Rumble.
Let me put it this way: like for me, honestly,
it was all good. It did the NWA attack.
If this was prison, if this was like a prison, if this was Prison Break or something like that, Owen Hart was green light. He was green lighted because everybody was like, you know how everybody had to beat up Austin, but for some reason everybody else needed to beat up Owen Hart because after Owen Hart got jumped by Jarrett later on when he finally got into the Rumble and then Triple H came out to the ring. He whooped his ass. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why does everybody hate Owen Hart?
They hate the Hearts. Brett should have never went to WCW because he was open season on his younger brother.
JR calls Cornette a stain on the underwear of life, which is another great JR line from this. Number 10, Steve Blackman.
No. Give him his proper name. The Lethal Weapon.
The Lethal Weapon. Blackman.
That's his Mel Gibson.
A better in shape version of Adam Cole.
What?
I mean, he can't talk, but they about the same height.
Steve Blackman will never have the charisma of an Adam Cole.
And Adam Cole will never have the physique of Steve Blackman. So, I mean, who are we to judge here?
Let me tell you about Steve Blackman, the Lethal Weapon. I enjoyed when he came out in this match. I was happy when he was gone. Because there was so much disappointment in who this man I thought could be. Like he would do his kicks, his punches, but he never connected on anything. My favorite attack is when he did that kick at Kurgan, and I went, "Oh shit!" And I almost landed that Keith Lee kick that Keith Lee tried to do. When he threw that at him, I was like, "Oh shit! You don't want none of that. You know what? You fucked up now."
I'm gonna say back in the day, booking the biggest mistake WWE did was they had Steve Blackman and Ken Shamrock on the same show at the same time because you could easily get them confused. But Ken Shamrock was clearly the better version of the Steve Blackman experiment. But I do remember them vignettes, and I loved his kung fu.
Ken Shamrock had his "Don't make me snap."
When they feud, I'm sure there's a Blackman Shamrock feud.
Yeah, they have a Lions Den match, right?
Yeah, in the car park with loads of cars. Yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that, and Steve Blackman, shout out to him for all-time legend. If he showed up in the Rumble this year, I'm sure he's in the same amount of shape. Although I would love to see him out of shape.
So who is the Steve Blackman for 2021? Like, who is that person? That, like, we all know who
Go.
Huh?
I got one punch. That's all I got.
It's Stang. Anyway,
D'Lo's out next. Out to just fuck some shit up and fight anyone he cares. D'Lo's he has a great Rumble.
Straight for the Rock. He started strangling the Rock. Who they kept counting the minutes of how long the Rock was in there, which there's always somebody in the Rumble every year.
Yeah.
Who they count the minutes and then they get thrown out.
And usually they're the number 3 entrant. Like that's usually one that goes a long time. But Tom Brady was not that person. It was number 4.
Tom Brady was in the Rumble for 12 seconds.
12 seconds.
I would like to think that Vince McMahon was going, can we just get Tom Brady out the Rumble? We need to get to 30. Tom Brady is our 30, but we're gonna put him at 3 just so we can get him out. God damn it, Tom Brady.
Eric's favorite Kurgan is out there.
You know the greatest thing, if Tom Brady was released right now, people bitching voted, oh my God, WWE didn't use Tom Brady to his best ability. Yep. How dare they release him?
Headlining Dynamite next week.
Yeah, he's fighting for the TNT title against
Tom Brady is all elite.
The only company he should be allowed to wrestle for the NWA against no reaction Nick Aldis.
Tom Brady versus Nick Aldis, yes.
NWA title match, 10 pounds of gold.
Actually, no, I'm not even going to give it to Nick Aldis. I'll give it to Tim Storm, who's even just as boring.
Hey, man, Mike Knox is back in the NWA. God dang it.
I
thought Mike Knox had died.
He's the most serious person ever. No, Mike Knox is back. And he's in the NWA.
All
the guys from the John Cena early era are in the NWA that got cut.
Marcus, I feel like
Everybody.
we have
Trevor
derailed
Murdoch.
their civil retro reaction show. I don't know. I feel like I feel
Well,
bad.
Tom Brady could do that to you.
He's a big star. Kurgan's out next, who eliminates Mosh straight away, and then doesn't really do anything else, does he?
Trash.
Yeah, he's awful.
Now, is this Kurgan before the oddities, or this Kurgan after?
Before.
Or,
This is with him. This is him in the Truth Commission with the Jackal.
Okay.
If Steve
98,
Austin would have had
he's-
Kurgan's neck, he would never had to leave because that neck was strong.
It was Brock Lesnar, best necks in the history of wrestling. But
Sable's
shout
out
out to
next.
Kurgan for having an amazing Sable's neck.
Manny, can I ask a question? When you saw Sable walk out, did you was like thumbnail?
No,
You sure?
no,
We've resisted so far.
resisted so far.
I mean, because like literally, I was like, "Yep, I understand," but then I also think to myself, "Shit, eventually she's gonna marry Brock Lesnar. What the fuck? Like, how did this
He
even
wasn't
happen?"
even born yet at this point. Brock Lesnar was a junior in high school or something.
Yeah,
Maybe
Sable's
he
out
hadn't
next
had
with
Kane yet.
no, not
Just
quite
remember,
yet.
Mark Merrow wears do-rags. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Is he cool?
So,
I like Mario's strategy in this Rumble. Doesn't do great. Does a lot of dancing.
dancing and jabs. And I want to say this also. Biggest reaction of the Rumble so far was from Mark Merrow.
The entire night.
It was for Sable, not Mark Merrow.
Well, it was
But his
amazing because
strategy-
Mark Mello went on his little run inside the Rumble and he was celebrating, but everybody was cheering Sable out there. And then he started arguing, like, "Pay attention to me, woman." And I was like, man, things just don't change.
I
Okay.
like Mark Merrow in this Rumble for his longevity, his smart strategy of stick and move.
Yeah.
Mark,
Let me
the
get my
only reason
shots
why
here
you
and
know
walk
you
away.
like Mark Merrow is because you can't remember. We were watching this with our grandfather. He was probably yelling the name of, "Oh, look at Mark Merrow. He out there doing his thing, Johnny B. Bad."
Well, even Jim Ross referenced Johnny B. Bad at one point with Mark Merrow. Was like, he is a really bad man. But Mark Merrow's hilarious.
Kurgan eliminates Blackman, and that brings out Shamrock, who strangely doesn't go straight after The Rock. Takes his time to go after The Rock. You think he'd be a bit annoyed?
Jim Ross like, he's going straight for The Rock.
Yeah.
Nope, he went completely the other way with
Straight
that.
for Kurgan.
Yeah, he was like, I guess I know I have beef with The Rock, but this Kurgan is a problem.
Yeah, need to get rid of him. Kurgan is eliminated by everyone. In the most obvious spot of every Rumble, the big guy gets eliminated by everyone else. 15 is Thrasher. Thrasher's here. Everyone get excited? No?
I got a little excited. The headbangers, damn it. Respect.
16 is Mankind. Foley makes his second appearance. He goes straight after Funk and throws him out. I like that.
I know. I enjoyed his theme of going after the people who eliminated him. So it's great. He had revenge and pettiness in his mind.
17 is Goldust or Tafka Goldust or whatever, Red Dust at this point.
The
for
artist
Rumble.
formerly known as Goldust. Put some
Yeah.
respect on this man's name.
Comes out as-
He got eliminated by Chains. God damn it!
He did.
With a Z.
Whoever the hell, whoever
With a
Chains
Z.
was.
Chains with a Z.
I, for the record, if I'm changed, I want to sue the Undertaker because he stole my gimmick when he became an American Badass. I stole his gimmick, yes, at SummerSlam, whatever year that was. But he retaliated, stole my gimmick, got it over, and brought Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit with him. I don't appreciate that.
And he kept
but
it
I-
rolling.
Just imagine if
What a
Chains
thing.
had that theme song coming out with Limp Bizkit and Fred Durst.
Damn, the 2000s was such a great year of wrestling for me personally. All the good things I remember. Limp
Goldust
Bizkit,
comes
y'all.
out.
Fred Durst.
Yeah, it'll only take us 2 years to get to this point, Eric. When
We'll
you
get there eventually.
come on and talk about Raw from 2000 all the time.
Goldust eliminates Mankind, and then Jarrett's out, and Owen comes straight back in and goes after Jeff. Jeff thinks he's throwing Owen out, and Owen skins the cat, and then turns around and throws Jeff out, which is quite nice.
Yeah, the whole fact that Jeff Jarrett decided to strut in the middle of this match shows me this is why Jeff Jarrett should have never been champion anywhere. Why the fuck are you strutting? In the
Strutting
middle?
towards the
Everybody-
ropes as well.
Yeah. Strutting hard too. Not even like
Can you just point out how Owen threw him over the top rope? He got major air.
Got some air, didn't
I thought he died.
It was that aerodynamic outfit he was wearing that MVP decided to steal.
It's called the doublet.
The Honky Tonk Man is out next for anyone that cares about the Honky Tonk Man.
Correction. Jerry Lawler's cousin, who
His
wasn't
cousin,
his
yeah.
cousin by the end of it when he got eliminated, which was
Cousin
Oh,
Honky,
they live with
yeah.
my cousin. I'm not a cousin.
oh no, he said, "Oh, JR, that's your cousin." Like,
Yeah, that was hilarious that they played up the cousin part only for the Honky Tonk Man to not be his cousin when he said, "I don't know what you're talking about, JR.
Yeah.
I don't know that
This
man."
guy. Rock eliminates Shamrock, and then Triple H and China come out and beat up Owen Hart and eliminate him. Did you see the bit where Owen ran backstage
And he
after
fell.
and falls on his ass?
And he fell.
He buzzed his ass, and I believe the king went, "Oh!" and just started laughing. Oh, he fell. He did it.
Oh god, number 20 is Ahmed Johnson, or the man that ate Ahmed Johnson.
He was gassed the moment he got in the ring.
He couldn't stand up.
it's because he was wearing those earrings, man. If he didn't wear those earrings, this would have
Weighed
never
him
been a
down.
problem.
I feel like he came out with his knees wrapped up already.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like this was?
Get to the ring?
Why do I feel like this was a return? Like he had been gone for a while. This is his first time being seen. I'm like, ooh.
I think it was. We haven't seen him so
It
far,
was.
man, have we?
No.
No.
Yeah, they were. JR was telling me he was back from injury and he's in the best shape of his life.
Yeah,
I've never seen him
apparently.
like
all
this.
round,
Nice shape.
round shape.
He joins the nation in a couple of weeks' time as well for a 1 week thing. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
I've never seen a man with thigh pads before.
Yeah, he
He
wore
has
his
shin pads,
tights
knee
so
pads,
high.
and thigh pads.
Yeah, he wore his underwear so high. It
Oh
was
my God,
ridiculous. Just cover his gut. It was off his ass. Like I thought
Yeah.
Goldust wore manlier clothes than what Ahmed Johnson had out there.
21 is big generic Mark Henry. He's just happy to be there.
That was
Big
young
old
Mark
smile on his
Henry too,
face.
man. Young,
Yeah.
sprightful young cat. Even just like
Yeah.
me graduating high school in '98, he was happy to be at the Rumble too. just to say, you know.
So what? When you graduated, you went straight into the Royal Rumble.
Goddamn right. Well, actually, I hadn't graduated yet, man, because realized I was part-timing because I graduated later in April. The Rumble took place in January. So, you know,
I would like to see after every graduation, the graduation should work like the Royal Rumble match, in which you have to 30 students over the top. Winner actually get their diploma.
Marcus,
Only one
that
gets the
is
diploma.
that is the premise for all
It's not
battle
like it
royal
was-
movies. Marcus, you take a bunch of high school students and they have to kill each other, and the last
We
one
don't
standing
think
wins the
that's throw you
prize.
over the top rope. All we gotta do is throw you over the top rope. I'm
No,
not
you gotta
talking about
die,
any better
man.
about this.
Squid Games,
I'm
man.
just
Squid
saying.
Games. You gotta die.
In my graduation, if we did,
We
a
just point out
30
it's
man
always
boy-
the Asians that have to die in this manner.
Yeah.
Apparently, Asians are very passionate about battle royales. I'm not really sure why, but it is. It's just like
And Steve Austin was in one of these things in the Condemned.
Condemned.
He won with Vinny.
Yeah, with Vinny Jones. But
Henry
30 men over
Henry
the
goes
top
straight after.
graduation. Up for it.
Yeah, Mark Henry comes in to go straight after Ahmed Johnson, just so JR can say that Henry's handling a big Johnson. I think is the only reason it does that.
He
22
was
is no
so
one.
with their dicks.
No one comes out at 22, which we later find out on Raw the next night was supposed to be the
Skull.
other guy. Yeah,
Skull.
that one.
Skull.
Yeah.
Skull.
Now
who was
Manny's
attacked
cheating with
in the back.
Wikipedia right now. That's what Manny doing right now. I know what
Yeah,
you're
but
doing.
you can't see in my eyes.
I saw you look down, Manny, and I know you're looking down to that 11-inch iPad Pro right there. That's what I know you're doing.
No, I'm looking at my screen. It's called. Have you heard of tabs, Derek? On
I don't know,
browsers.
man. I got tabs open too, but you accused me of plagiarism, and the
Manny
fact
is
that you went to Wikipedia just so I wouldn't sound the smartest bothers me, Manny.
It's
And
not
I challenge
accusing
you to a Royal Rumble in 2023.
Can I special against the referee and give you a no finish? Not even sitting there.
He low blows
No
us both.
payoff.
He kicks
No
us in the
payoff.
ball both.
Yeah, no payoff. It's a pay-per-view, but no payoff. We'll
Hey,
be back
Marcus.
on Raw.
And
Same match.
Marcus, as long as you put me into a coffin and pour gasoline in it and set me on fire, then you know, that's all I need.
Oh,
20
okay.
23 is Karma, who, as he comes out, pushes Ahmed, but Ahmed is so knackered that he can't do anything about it. And just
That
lets him
man
walk
turned
past
to the
him.
Godfather, y'all. The Godfather.
He did.
He had the whole
No.
train.
So I think it was one of the Godwin, maybe Henry Godwin, and then Ahmed Johnson get into a fight when they both
Yeah.
get eliminated.
Yes.
And then as Karma comes out, Ahmed Johnson is exhausted and he's just lurking around the entrance area, and then looks like he's trying to get into a fight with Karma again.
We just shoved his ass out the way.
No,
Fuck out of here, man.
I will point out my favorite
I
thing
felt like
was
that
that
was real heat.
when
Like,
Ahmed
like,
got eliminated, for whatever reason, because Phineas had just got why did he stuff on his head? I don't know, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it went nowhere afterwards. But I was like, maybe that was for when the the Confederate flag on his knee.
24 is Stone Cold, who I like this. Everyone stops and looks to the entranceway, and he comes in from behind. Gets rid of Mero straight away.
It was nice. It was the big impact. Everybody knew who was winning this. Everybody knew who they were waiting for in this match. Everybody was excited that he won in the manner he did. He came in late and just it was nice. It was nice because I was expecting him to walk down there straight ahead because I do not remember him coming from behind. But then when he did, I was like, there he is. There's Steve Austin.
Got Mark Merrill's ass real quick.
Straight out.
I don't understand why they didn't keep their eye on the back as well, because that's exactly what he did on Raw when they tried to do this whole ceremony of let's draw everyone's numbers before the Royal Rumble.
Man, he's a professional wrestling. And professional wrestling, you have watched a lot of it, and it goes on to this day. When music play, you focus on the ramp. You look in that one direction. You never look to the back, although you could even have John Moxley, who comes from the crowd. You still look at the ramp, waiting for him to come down. It's just, that's what wrestling says.
Well, also, in this Attitude Era, you got to remember that these people took open hand share shots. Their brains were not working correctly, and they were drug abused. So their brains were not working. They were scrambled.
Austin also throws out 8-Ball because he was also wearing a vest at this time. You can't have two men wrestling in vests.
Yeah.
Just
not
allowed.
Want to be confused. We don't want to confuse the two.
Yeah. Henry Confederate Goldberg comes out. He goes straight after Austin. 26 is Savio and all the Breakwers. Just why not?
Best strategy of the Rumble was that Savio Vega was like, what's the rules of me coming in with all my guys?
No DQs. Why not?
Use them as a shield.
This is all just point out, yes, there was all the Breakwers, but the only one that mattered was the hairy one. And just know that later on, one of them will be taken out by Edge, never to wrestle again because of a flip dive.
Austin eliminates all of the Breakwers. There's 11 people in the Rumble currently. No one's doing anything, really.
Rock was laid in that corner.
Yeah, he was taking the chill pill.
Suck it air.
27 was Farouk. He comes out and goes straight after Nation of Domination because, of course, he would. Why wouldn't he?
Guys.
he went after the Rock.
At this point, I thought Farouk would be like, yo, we can work together. We can work together. We can do this.
Ross looked good. He was in shape. He was young and spry at that point. This wasn't the APA at Ross Simmons.
But this is also Jim Ross going on the tangent. He's like, well, Farouk, formerly known as Ross Simmons, is the best athlete I've ever seen in my life. He kept saying it. He kept saying the best athlete I've ever seen in my life. Ross Simmons, now known as Farouk. Had to say it all together. Like he was Muhammad Ali, formerly Cassius Clay.
It was like JR was trying to get fired. Like, I'm gonna say what I want to say.
I'm done. Try and stop
me. Ron Simmons, Terry Funk. Fuck you guys.
Austin and The Rock fight outside the ring, and the crowd goes wild for it. And it's like a little precursor to what we're going to get for the next kind of 3-4 years, basically.
Yeah.
Until Triple H is born.
Yeah. 28 is Dude Love.
Triple H ends up with the daughter.
And then when Marcus, when they got together, John Cena was born in Immaculate Conception. That's where he was born. He was birthed.
Dude Love's out at 28, eliminates Bradshaw straight away. 29 is Chains. No one cares that Chains is 29. Such a disappointing number for someone to be. And then Vader's out at 30. And Vader does at this point, JR calls him that big old stinky grizzly bear making his way to the ring.
I was really upset that Vader went in and then Vader went out.
Really fast.
I was like, I really wanted that big stinking grizzly bear to have a good run at the end. He could have made the final 5, but I guess they decided to go all nation members instead.
and then there's because there's like 13 people in the ring, suddenly we just get a flurry of eliminations. So Honky goes out, followed by Thrasher, then Karma, then Savio, then Vader, then Henry, then Goldust, and then Chains, who lands on the ring steps, it sounds like. Really dangerous dismissal. Yeah. And then your final 4 is Austin, Rock, Dude Love, and Farouk. Farouk eliminates Dude Love. Yeah. And then Rock throws out Farouk. And then we get Austin, Rock. Crowd's super loud. And then Stunner, Rock stands by the ropes and gets thrown out. And that's it. The Rumble is over. We have a Rumble winner. It's Stone Cold. It was a good ending to the Rumble, but a really shit Rumble, I thought.
I was entertained by it for all the wrong reasons.
I'm always entertained by Rumbles, even though they're boring.
Just to see who's coming out next. And even though there were no big surprises who were in there or there weren't any like big spots or whatnot, it was still entertaining about who's coming out next. and what are people doing in this thing? And a lot of it was Mark Merrill doing jabs, The Rock just laying around, and then everybody else just waiting for Steve Austin to come out and eliminate everybody.
I mean, I think it's just the spectacle of it. It's like there were so many subplot stories being told in this Rumble that most people wouldn't care about, but it's just what I enjoy about the Rumbles. I don't need surprise entrants. I just need shenanigans to take place. I mean, this is before Coffee even showed up doing his spots in the Rumble. Like it's just like the Rumble just is all it brings a smile to my face, and we're 2 weeks away from it. So
my favorite Rumble spot ever is the CM Punk Straight Edge Society one, where he throws guys out and then gets on the mic in between and starts preaching. Absolutely love that. That's brilliant. I've got some time. I'll take some time in this ring to talk to you about.
But I like what they always nail is the final two. I don't think they've ever messed up on the final two because you get it hyped up and going like, oh man, no matter who it is in the Rumble, men or women, the final two is always exciting. And I liked that it set up the next 5 years of Austin Rock basically in this final two, and the crowd was pumped for it.
Before we move over to the main event, of all Royal Rumbles, who is your favorite 1 and 2, final two?
Taker and Shawn.
Ooh, that's a good one. That might be. I'm trying to think. I feel like was it Warrior and Hogan one of them at one point? I feel like that was a really hype. But I might go
and Cena.
Even Del Rio would say that.
I was going to say one of my funniest ones was Del Rio and Santino.
Oh yeah, when Santino came at the end and the crowd got hyped. The crowd got so hyped.
The crowd was so loud for that. But then I must agree with Ross. I think Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels when they had that mini match. Yeah, that went on for about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they started 1 and 2 the Rumble after that.
Yeah,
and then went into their WrestleMania matches. So that's proper forward planning. That's pretty good. Speaking of those two, we have a casket match.
Hey.
Just before we get into this, if this match never happens or the injury doesn't happen, how does the next couple of years play out? Because Shawn doesn't drop titles to people.
Shawn's dead. I think Shawn dies of drugs.
I think he's one of the wrestling casualties.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't feel like Shawn was, because in this match, Shawn gets hurt.
Really early on.
Career-ending injury. Yeah, like 30 seconds, maybe a minute in the match. Yeah. Career-ending injury. Man goes up and perform like nothing happened. I'm only saying he's able to do that because of the drugs that were already in his system.
I did think that, yeah.
There is no way he was able to do all this stuff.
Because Taker slams him on his back so many times.
You got to realize like how fucking quick adrenaline just plays through and you can do anything. Because I remember playing football once and I wasn't, the one day where I wasn't wearing shin pads, the guy slide tackles me, nails me in my shin. I flip over him. Like the full on the impact made me go flip over him.
Jesus Christ.
And then still managed to stand up, clear the ball to throw it, and then I just dropped. I was like,
That's no more to give. That's
no, I couldn't play anymore. I couldn't play anymore. I literally had a dent in my leg.
That's why whenever you see an NFL player rolling around on the ground, you go, they're really hurt. You like, they couldn't even get up. Yeah, adrenaline is carrying most of these people. It was like, even with Kobe tore his Achilles and hit those free throws in the NBA, you're gonna like, he shouldn't be able to do
Kobe
that.
was spite, man. That was spite. That was that. He was fueled by hate. Like, I can't believe this shit happened to me.
Kobe's different. Kobe's fueled by hate.
Like, literally, he shot them free throws and you would never know he had just ruptured his Achilles. Then he walked off the court on his own accord. It was like, oh, okay.
He'll be back.
When you see Paul Pierce, who allegedly had the boo-boo, was being carted out in a wheelchair and shit like that.
He shit his pants, Eric. That's why he didn't want the world to see. But but Shawn and Undertaker, I thought this was a really good match, and it was really high energy. It didn't seem like there were any lows in the match or anything. It was just, and you couldn't tell Shawn was hurt, which was the part of it. I was like, this is crazy. This is incredible. Insane.
You can tell he's hurt at Mania. You can see him kind of fighting through it's broke a crushed disc in his back, I think it is.
Yeah.
Which is proper foul. Like that. Everyone else will just be on the floor dead. But
it's really interesting to see. Like, do you know how the final run of Shawn Michaels' career when he came back from the
before he lost the smile?
Yeah, no. So like, when he came back to fight Triple H.
Yeah.
at SummerSlam in I think 2002 or something like that.
Yeah.
People talk about how good he was, how great he was at that from that point, that period of time before up till he retired. But when we took a look back at this match, you just realize just like it wasn't just then.
No,
it wasn't that. He was clearly as good before he left and took that long break.
Yeah.
I'm more of a second run
match.
Shawn Michaels than I am a first run Shawn Michaels wrestler. I think he's a smarter wrestler. He's better on the microphone. He really gets invested into everything. And
so Marcus,
like,
what you're saying is,
Shawn guy.
So you prefer your Shawn with Jesus instead of Coke?
Yeah. You have to choose something. I would choose Jesus over Coke at this point.
I mean, I can understand why Shawn Michaels is one of my favorite wrestlers because he also laid the groundwork for my current favorite wrestler, Randy Orton. They're just so good in the ring that you could put them in any situation and they can excel. True, Shawn was being blamed for the ratings being bad and whatnot during that period. But I mean, what else could you say in that situation? Does anybody actually know what the win-loss record for the Undertaker's in casket matches? Because I feel like this was his only blemish on his record. Because I really never gonna be like, Undertaker loses casket match.
He lost to Yokozuna in '94. My favorite year.
That's why whenever they were talking
we aren't doing that.
When they did the package, when I go back to '94, Manny's killed the year. When they took the Undertaker's package, they were talking about how his history in casket matches are legendary. I think he was 500 at the time of this match. I think he was 2 for 2 at this current moment, or he was like 2 and 1 or something like that. He won like what?
There was Kamala, wasn't it? He beat Kamala.
And that's
he lost to Yokozuna.
I've got a whole history of them here. So he defeated Kamala in the first one. Then Yoko beat him. Then he beat Yoko at the Survivor Series.
Was that a casket match? The second one?
I'm assuming it is because it's like it's casket matches. It's on Pro Wrestling Fandom, so it's all of his casket matches. There's quite a lot.
He fought Yoko twice in the casket.
I don't remember that one.
You don't get your win back.
I don't remember the second. Do you remember the second one? I don't remember the second one.
I just remember him dying in front of me, and it's terrifying.
It says he lost to Goldust in one.
He's lost to Goldust.
Apparently so.
He's not really good at these things.
No, he's not.
It's like Kane in Inferno matches. I'm winning.
No, he doesn't never win. He always, except the only Inferno match I remember is the one with MVP for some reason. And I don't know why.
Because his last one was against Rusev at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Remember that?
Oh yeah. That's
the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Chills. So he's lost quite a few, according to this list. Anyway, he's lost to Goldust. He's lost to Yoko.
So clearly, my recollection of him being pretty strong in casket matches is like Undertaker should never book casket matches. Is he better at buried alive matches? Because those are totally different.
No. I think he's been buried alive several times.
Eric, he's only good when he's shown building the casket.
Probably true, actually.
Hey, those are the best moments of his casket matches. Is when he's putting them together. When the carpet inside and the Undertaker come out.
They do make some nice caskets.
When he put the sandpaper, getting it just right on the edges.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. Those are probably some of my favorite segments when he's building that casket.
Yeah. Now, I know this is quite morbid, but do you think there's somebody who grew up as a wrestling fan was like, you know what, I wish I could have when I die? I hope I could be buried in one of Undertaker's caskets. Like they were so caught up in a moment.
I'm sure there's loads of them.
That purple velvet on the inside.
Like if WWE shop sold the Undertaker casket, I'm pretty sure some obsessed wrestling fan would buy it.
Well, I believe on WWE's Most Wanted Treasures, they had them all, right?
Yeah, they had a whole collection of them in there.
Yeah, they had all the collection of the caskets, which was
not the one from the '98 Royal Rumble they didn't have.
People bought that Fiend belt for $6,000. They could have charged an absolute fortune for a casket, and people would have paid for it.
My favorite thing about the, you know what? If I ever become a millionaire, one of my bedrooms is going to be an Undertaker casket. And I'm just going to sleep in there. It's like, this was built by the Undertaker himself.
And Mark, you wouldn't be a millionaire for that loan by making things like that.
What? Just one. It'd be my wrestling room. Also would sleep.
How much you think an Undertaker's casket would cost?
That's got to be $2,000. Not 20.
Well, first of all,
if it's made of wood, because it's not going to be like a regular casket, which are like what, $10,000 a pop or something like that. The wood casket's got to be cheaper. Although I'll probably top of the line from oak.
The 98 casket had cocaine hidden in it.
Little bag just stuck to life.
Oh, yeah,
Sean's wearing it.
it's like, oh, you like my cocaine bag.
Ha
What's funny? Because where did you get that, bro? It's just like cocaine.
Him and Chainsaw Charlie, that's what they were hanging out with at the beginning of the show.
And my favorite part, after he threw the cocaine on him, Undertaker's just throwing punches, but he's like, wait a minute, this is giving me more strength. And then nails one shot.
Couple clocks him.
Yeah.
There was a couple of spots in this match. That pile driver from Sean Taker on the outside on the steps.
Ooh, that sounded brutal.
God, yeah.
It
sounded like he
boom,
bust his head open. And that chokeslam where he just held Sean up in the air for about 30 seconds. That looked very good.
The tombstone into the casket was pretty. I was like, oh, that's dangerous. I mean,
that was better than Kane's chokeslam into the casket, which
Kane didn't have his strength yet. He wasn't powered by the county of Knox County just yet. You know, he didn't have that power inside of him. I mean, you know, he didn't have the power to cancel flights and give people the keys to cities. I mean, this is before he was really invested. He was too young. He was young and naive.
Yeah, no,
Manny and Ross,
his vocal cords hasn't even come back in yet.
Yeah, he's still talking like it. My castle treatment is going very well. But my question for you guys: this twist that happened with him going to save the Undertaker and them becoming brothers again. Does it make any sense? Because you guys been following Raw back and forth. Because I felt like
so the lead up,
and I felt like, why would we do this? Why did they do this?
So the lead up to this was it was 8. They scheduled an 8 versus 1 match of like the DOA and everyone against Kane. And then Undertaker was the 8th man, but it turned out the Undertaker was coming back to save Kane. And then the following week, the DX wanted to bring in. They announced they signed Kane to DX, but instead you got Taker coming out. Don't mess with my fucking family.
Yeah, you're not gonna be here playing with your dicks and your horse and your cocaine.
And then they start pounding, beating him up. And then Kane makes the save, like walking to the ring.
Slow as he likes.
And then they do the classic Undertaker pose, and then Kane with the fire,
and then reciprocates.
And then it's this whole swerve of like, fuck you, I'm gonna set you on fire.
Yeah, well, I feel like this is a still ridiculous twist. Like I feel like he could have did this either way. He could have did this either way. He didn't have to befriend his brother again.
My favorite thing though was Paul Bearer giving Kane instructions on how to use padlocks. Oh, just put the padlock right here. And then I was like, oh, okay. Kane didn't know how to use padlocks at the time. Okay, great.
I like the axe. The axe touch is my favorite touch of the night because you think he's cutting air holes. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
No, it's gasoline holes. Yeah, it's so dramatic. And
I actually want to know at what point he got out.
The ring, I'm assuming.
I think it was a trap door when they fell in there. Like you could push it out and they roll underneath the ring.
Okay.
Yeah, it must be there. But
that was the way they did a lot of stuff back in the day, where and the wrestler would stay underneath the ring the whole entire show until like all the people left.
Real carny shit right there.
Yeah,
that's why there was a TV under there, isn't it?
Kayfabe, man. That's why Hornswoggle had lines of coke underneath there. So when Undertaker rolled underneath there, he rolled into coke. Like, hey, there it is.
For core kayfabe, it's like there's pillows, a guy who's just to keep you company. Hey,
is there anything I can get you, Mr. Undertaker? Thank you for being underneath the ring.
I'll take a martini. This is very Undertaker-like. This martini, this apple tini. Like you see a waiter going under there crawling later in the night.
And that's right when that's right when Undertaker realized that all lives matter right underneath that ring after he saw that thing being set on fire.
So that is how the pay-per-view ends, with the casket on fire and Taker inside, apparently. Kane on one knee giving it a 2-finger salute, and Bearer laughing maniacally.
Actually, wait a minute. How British is Kane?
One of my favorite moments from the entire segment though was when the match first started and chop is being done by Mike Tyson, and the announcers can't figure like, is he cheering Shawn Michaels or is he opposed to Shawn Michaels? If we only knew what was about to happen, really going forward.
Can we also point out that was the first and only time he did the chop properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last night. Everything else, he goes,
He can't do it. He cannot do it. On every show, we do a match of the night and your MVP. Manny, what was your match of the night?
It has to be the main event, and the MVP has to be Shawn Michaels, but only because you know what history has told you.
Yep. I've got match of the night as the main event. I've got for MVP as a Rock just for his Royal Rumble performance and his little his acting with Ken Shamrock.
I would agree with you with The Rock for having double matches and two of my probably favorite matches, in which it was the Royal Rumble match, and I enjoyed the Shamrock twist of him taking the Intercontinental title and the crowd being so upset because the crowd really popped when Shamrock got that title.
Huge moment.
Allow me to be the contrarian in this situation, and maybe because I'm a tad bit delusional. I'm going with Mick Foley as Dude Love, Mankind, and Cactus Jess being my person who put in a lot of work. And my match of the night is something I hadn't seen in a long time. It was match number 2 on the card: Max Smitty, Mosaic, and Nova going against Natalia, El Torito, and Tarantula, with Sonny being at ringside. Come on, man. You don't get that anymore in wrestling.
They changed the game. You do every Thursday, every Wednesday night. What kind of old phone? What year are you in?
Why do you have a rotary phone in your house?
Yeah, you're taking this 1998 shit too serious. What do you call it? 1-800 collect next?
Man.
He got method at using a rotary phone.
You know what? I'm gonna go home. I'll go home.
But I would say the match with the biggest influence in wrestling history probably was that minis match. That changed the game of modern wrestling. Ricochet or Sammy Guevara's and all your high flyers out there looked at it and was like, that could be me.
Like Eric said, this is AEW every week. With your 6-man tag, your 8-man tag, your 10-man tag.
Trio, nobody has a title. Put a bunch of random people together. Jungle Boy gonna be teaming with Christian Cage. You know, come on, man. That's what we're gonna do.
For the record, I believe this match in a modern era would have got This Is Awesome chat, because for a little person lucha match, they actually were very proficient and botched very minimal moves. And it was really, and they would have got this awesome. Instead, everybody was like, can we get this shit off the TV? Can we please get to the real guys?
Battalion Marcus did not fit the weight requirement. He did not.
No, not at all. We could have been in the Rumble, would have been fine.
And El Torito won, because El Torito 2 was 10 years, probably 10 years later, something like that. When we get El Torito 2.
Oh, Christ, yeah. The son of that El Torito. Again, that is the end. That is the end of this week's podcast. That is the end of the Royal Rumble 1998. Our next pay-per-view, Manny, by the way, is No Way Out of Texas, which was actually held on my birthday, and I'm pretty sure I stayed up and watched that. It's dreadful, but we will get to that in a couple of weeks' time. Do you want to do all the plug-in stuff, Manny? That's your best bit.
No, I'll do that in post.
Okay,
that's too difficult to do.
Hey, we heart you, Tom Brady. We heart you, man. You know, number 3, baby. Number three
in the Rumble, number 1 in our hearts.
Exactly. We will never forget you, man. Oh no, I didn't know who you were.
This was your Rumble. This is your Rumble.
Oh, man.
You continued the legacy of Bruno Sammartino and created the legacy of Tony D'Angelo.
No,
He got it there. And was like, yeah, this is me. I'm gonna win. Tony D was Tony B first. That's how it was. Crowbar, baby.
What happened to Tony C? What happened to Tony C? He never got close. Tony C was just all bullshit. He was just like,
Marcus, Tony C is the one that Tony B and Tony D killed at the docks. That's what happened. And that's why we celebrate that man that died at the docks. It was Tony C. Now we know the true mystery. May Tony C rest in peace.
There we go. That's it. Manny dropped the bomb.
I mean, I dropped the bomb on this one.
He's supposed to stop because he can't take the abrasive of a shot of brandy, you know, because Tom Brady.
Yeah, we get more Tom Brady on Raw.
Yes.
Oh no, Tom Brady.
The legend continues.
We'll be back.
The Tom Brady podcast.
We'll be back next week. Peace.